to prioritize and build roadmaps around two prominent themes of resiliency and decarbonization. I want to hear from each of you on this topic, but why don't I start, Joe, with you first? Because I think there's a perception that there is a trade-off between health and these objectives. So would you speak to that and how schools should think about these topics and when they are trying to build those roadmaps?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, one of the reasons we've been in this six schools era for the past several decades is because it's been presented as a false choice of, hey, we have to have energy efficiency, and that's going to come at the expense of kids' health, teachers' health, and staff health. I think that's was foolish, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I can give you some examples. And by the way, it doesn't have to be expensive. And what I mean I mean doing both. Having good indoor air quality and a building that's energy efficient doesn't ignore our responsibilities to the global community and local community in terms of climate change and resilience. So I'll tie in a couple threads that tying in what Leslie was saying, which I really liked. But if you think about this kind of roadmap, at least that's around resiliency, decarbonization, and also healthy indoor air quality, I really like a couple ideas. One is measuring the problem first. So Leslie mentioned this, right? We see people take sensors into schools, you see terrible indoor air quality, but until you're actually measuring, you don't know what you're trying to fix. And that's kind of what we've been doing at schools. I even see some bills proposed that says like fix everything. Well, we can be a lot more targeted and strategic if we're measuring. And if we do that, then we know your building is an outdoor air pollution issue. That building is a VOC issue. That building is a thermal comfort issue. That's a lighting issue. And then we can make strategic and targeted and cost-effective mitigation. So the first is to measure. The second is giving your building a tune-up. So giving your building a tune-up or commissioning your building and addressing this deferred maintenance, we know improves indoor air quality, and we know it saves money. So there's a perfect example of something that improves indoor air quality while is also energy efficient, energy saving. So measure it, give your building a tune-up, and then once you know what you're looking at, what is the indoor environmental conditions, what is the status of my existing equipment, then what do I do next? And so, for example, we talked about the problems with indoor air quality. Well, it could be something like using energy recovery ventilation. You can bring in more dedicated outdoor air and pass the outgoing airstream past it, recover all that energy. Could be almost energy neutral while improving indoor air quality and address that ventilation issue. Better filters are very cheap, doesn't really have an energy penalty. If you take that heat side of the equation, think about extreme heat. Maybe your building or classroom has a heat issue. Well, the same thing there. There are tools you can do. Actually, a product or a technology we worked on with Mark and the team at Armstrong, my team of scientists at my company, was this use of phase change materials. So we know these materials can offset some energy expenditures while keeping a more comfortable thermal environment. So as another example, if the data show that your building is having a problem or you're prone to extreme heat, and this is a lot of big problem for northern schools that never had this problem before, well, there are solutions that can help you improve your air quality while saving money and saving energy. So I totally reject this notion that it has to be this either or value proposition. In fact, we can't accept an energy efficient school where people get sick inside, and we can't have the world's healthiest indoor air quality and ignore responsibilities to what's happening outside in the environment of the planet. And I think even just a couple examples I gave, there are available technologies right now that can help us diagnose and measure the problem, give our buildings a tune-up, address this deferred maintenance, and then identify areas for improvement that can be both cost savings, energy savings, and while also improving overall indoor environmental quality.
Leslie, Anisa, would you like to jump in on this important topic?
Go ahead, Anisa. Sure.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think Joe covered it really well. I mean, the balance is something that, especially I find the hot, humid climates struggle with this the most. You know, our schools in Florida and the Gulf Coast really struggle with the balance between energy efficiency and IAQ. But I think there are some really fantastic technologies coming online to help with that balance, and I've seen very good examples of schools that have, achieved net zero energy and also been responsible with the indoor air quality for their kids.